24/7. So heartily welcome to all the bankers in this early morning class. And only few days left for your upcoming examinations. So I'm just hoping that everyone is started and everyone just geared up their preparation. Okay. So before to proceed further, I would like to say if you're new on the Officer Center 24/7, hit the subscribe button and download the Adda 24/7 application. Okay. So before to proceed further, I would like to say this is the last time when you can enroll for the case study batch at the selection batch. Okay. So if I talk about the level of this examination is slightly up, like you have a very good with your concept. So for that, the case study batches are really helpful for your preparation. Okay. So as you only have to use a code that is Y422, and with this code you are going to get the big discount over that. So just apply this code and just avail this opportunity, because this is the last time when you can just enroll for any kind of the batches, right? So this is a case study batch that is available in the bilingual as well as in the English medium, that in the English medium language that is available. And if I say that is selection batch, a few classes has been done, but still there are some classes that remain. Okay. And that are very important classes that is remain. So you can also enroll for the selection batch, and I'm just going to explain you, I am just going to tell you everything related to that, how you can just clearly, how you can just successfully crack your examination. Okay. Still you have an opportunity, still you can just grab, like you can still just make the very good score in your examination. Just enroll for this batches, and I say that just apply this code Y422 and you are going to get the big discount over that. Okay. So quickly, we are just going to start the session, or whatever the questions I'm just discussing, that all are a very important from exam point of view. So just focus on that. Okay. So the very first question, that is a machine was purchased. Whenever I just talk about the chapter that is of your depreciation. Okay. Just a minute. Right. So whenever you are getting the question of the depreciation in the examination, you always have to understand, like, just use the total cost of the asset you always have to consider. Okay. So total cost of the asset, like suppose that any machine that is purchased, like the machine cost, whatever the installation that incurred on that cost, whatever the other expenses that incurred on that actually makes a total cost of the asset. Okay. And that you always have to consider in the chapter of the depreciation. So when we talk about a machine that is purchased for the 50,000 rupees, installation cost, installation expenses that is given, wages that is given were paid on the installation. Okay. Wages we always provide to the laborers. Okay. And that is the direct expense, for that is also you have to know. So the scrap value that is given at the end of its useful life of the 10 years, that is 6,000. Okay. And you have to calculate the depreciation here. So how to find out that? Look, when we talk about that, because there is no any method is given here, so just assume that you have to calculate through the straight line method. So in the straight line method, that is total cost of the machine. What is the total cost of the machine? You will say that is 50 plus 2 plus 4, and that will make your 56,000, right? So that is total cost of the machine minus scrap value, or you can also say the residual value. Okay, that is given the 6,000 here, just right here, that is 6,000, and that should be divided by the 10, and that would be your 50,000 divided by the 10. That means the 5,000, that should be the answer for this question, and that is your depreciation. Total cost of the machine, that is machine cost, installation as expenses, and whatever the wages incurred on that, whatever the labor charges you just provided. Okay. So that you also have to add into the total cost of the asset. Okay. After that, the residual value is given and you have to just deduct that, right? Next question. Look, when we talk about the trial balance, you always have to understand the trial balance is all about, when we talk about, like, the debit balance should be equal to the credit balance. Okay, that thing we actually discussed, that what is a trial balance. Like, trial balance is what, that when we say that is debit balance of the, like, debit balance that is equal to the credit balance, that is our that is our trial balance, one of the feature of the trial balance. Another feature, that what component that we have to keep on the debit side and what component we have to keep on the credit side. Okay. So as you all know that all the assets and all the expenses, losses that we keep on the debit side, while all the liabilities, all the income, all the capital, okay, all the revenue, that all things we are going to record under the credit side. And that is a much important for your examination, so just quickly write down that. Okay, so if I'm saying that the debit side we record the asset and expenses, and on the credit side we record the liabilities, income, gains, revenue, that all things. Now suppose that you are getting this question in the examination, and now you will facing the confusion like how to solve this kind of, like how to solve this kind of the big question in the examination. Okay, so just understand that. Look, when we talk about the very important thing here, that when we talk about like on the that debit side should be equal to the credit side. Now if I just say here that because all the items that is given, there is no any debit and there is no any credit side is specifically is given, that means we have to prepare that. Okay, but I'm just if like I have a two options. Okay, rather I can prepare that all the debit balances, or I can also record all the credit balances. So I have a two choices, because I know that the one of the feature that of the trial balance, that is a debit balance equal to the credit balance. Okay, so like I'm just getting the capital, that is I'm sure that capital is going to record on the credit side, right? Just understand this. Okay, if I say the capital is going to record under which side, you will say definitely say you that is going to record on the credit side, right? Computer, that is something the asset for you, you will record under the debit side. Machinery, that is on the debit side. Okay, office furniture, debit side. Investment, debit side, that is asset of your company. Salaries, expenses, salaries is what, that is indirect expenses, that is on the debit side. Bank overdraft is a liability for you. Okay, so that is going to on record on the credit side. Rent is expense. Okay, so rent is also going to record under the debit side. Sales generate the income, right? So sales would going to record under the credit side. Freight, there is no any clear view that is given the freight in or freight out. Just remember, whenever it is given the freight in, that is a direct expenses. Whenever it is giving the freight outward, that is a indirect direct expenses. But here that is given the freight, that means something that is expenses, right? So that freight, that you can understand, that is a expenses, that is going to be freight, you can understand as a transportation charges. Okay, so that is going to be recorded under the debit side. Purchases, that is on the debit side. Cash in hand, that is on the debit side. Debtor is the asset for the company, that is on the debit side. Creditor, that is on the credit side, right? Postage is, that is, creditor is a liability for the company. Okay, postage is also the expense. Okay, so that is also just going to record under the debit side. Now I just know that one of the feature of the trial balance, that is a total of the debit balance should be equal to the total of the credit balance. And I'm just watching here that the more of the debit components I'm getting here, so rather to calculate the debit side, I just prefer to calculate the credit side, because I know that the debit and credit is equal, right? So if I just only writing the credit side, okay, and based on that definitely going to get the answer here. Okay, so the capital, like capital is going to record under the credit side. I will just write here that is 9 lakh. Okay, right. Another thing, that is bank overdraft, that is your 20,000. Okay, after that sales is a 16 lakh. Okay, that is a sales on the credit side. After that creditor is a 1 lakh. Okay, I'm just recording this. Okay, we completed with the credit side. Okay, so this will be equal to 16 plus 9, that is 25. 25 and 1, that is 26. And 26 plus 20, that will become your 2620, right? So that would be your answer here, that is 26 lakh 20,000. That should be the correct answer for this question. Okay, so this is how you have to solve the questions. And when you just add the debit side, the same sum you will get on the debit side, that is 26 lakh 20,000 rupees. Just this is your homework, just try to do that. Okay, and the same sum you will get on the debit side. Okay, the only thing that you have to record the debit side component on the debit side, that's it. Okay, so this is how you have to solve the questions in the examination also. Next question. Estimated useful life of the machinery, that is given the 5 years, and depreciation written off in the second year under sum of year digit method, you have to tell. Look, whenever you are getting the whenever you are getting the question of the sum of year digit method, always have to understand the very important thing, that the name itself representing that is a sum of years digit method. Okay, so like if the useful life is given, and that is the thing that only we require. So useful life that is given the 5 years, so just start with the 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Okay, what is the total sum of that? You will say that is a total sum of that, that is a 15. Okay, now this would considered as a first year depreciation, this would be second year, this would be third, this is fourth, and this is the fifth. Okay, now what is the question of that? Depreciation written off in the second year. So what would be the second year depreciation? You will say this is, and then you will say that is a component of the 4 by 15. Okay, so the correct answer that should be the A. That next question. This question is from the ratio analysis chapter. This is also very important chapter for your exam point of view. Okay, so ratio analysis chapter, debt to equity ratio establishes the relationship between which two components. Okay, so whenever we talking about the debt, whenever we are talking about the debt, you have to consider like debt equity ratio is all about the long term debt and the equities. Okay, so the correct answer, if I say what the options are given, that is long term debt. Okay, long term debt and the current asset, long term debt and the equity, and the long term debt and the current asset. Okay, these two are the wrongs. Another one, that is a long term debt and the equity, that is correct. Okay, so the correct answer, that is a long term debt and the equity. And we often say the equity, that is a your shareholders fund. Okay, so that is your shareholders fund. Equity, you can also say that shareholders fund, and long term debt, that is divided by the shareholders fund. And this is how you have to understand the question. I hope you are getting my point, right? Next question. Okay, company ABC Limited that purchases a machine from the another company XYZ Limited for 65,000. So this is a company. Always make the chart. Okay, and that chart actually simplifies your question. If you just watching my sessions throughout the beginning, then you can see that I always prefer to make the chart. I always prefer to make the diagram, because from that you actually able to understand the things. Okay, so like more easily. So company ABC Limited purchased a machine from the XYZ Limited for the 64,000 rupees. Okay. Now, it was decided to pay 10,000 rupees in the cash. That means it was decided to pay, that is 10,000 rupees in the cash, and balance paid by issue of the shares of the 10 rupees each, issued at the premium of the 20%. Remember one thing. Okay, here the very important thing that you have to understand, if the share price, like the one share price that of face value of the one share, that is the 10 rupees, and it is issued at the premium of the 20%, you always have to understand this should be applied on this face value of the share. Okay, so if I say that 10 rupees, like 20% of the 10 rupees, that what it will make, that it will make the 2 rupees. That means the premium, that is a 2 rupees, and the face value, that is a 10 rupees. That means if I say the total of the 20 rupees, right, total of the 12 rupees, sorry, total of the 12 rupees that you can consider here, that is 10 plus 2 rupees, 2 rupees of the premium, right? So it was decided to pay that ABC will just paid the 10,000 rupees. Okay, and after that, whatever the remaining balance that you can understand, for the 54,000 rupees, the company actually paid the shares. Okay, like actually company is paying the paid the shares, where the one share price, that is 10 rupees plus 2 rupees of the premium. So what like the question is like how many number of the shares that is actually issued to the XYZ Limited. Okay, so you can understand the 54,000 rupees that have to be paid the ABC Limited to the XYZ Limited, and against the one share price, that is a 12 rupees. So what would be the answer of this? That would just become the 4. Okay, and this would be 4,500. Okay, so the correct answer, that is the second option, that is a 4,500, and this is how we have to solve the questions. Okay, next question. Non-current assets of the firm, that is given are 26 lakhs, and the current assets are the 9 lakhs, and the shareholders funds are given. Total debt of the firm you have to tell here. Okay, just remember one thing. When we talk about the assets, always understand the total asset that is equal to your current asset and the non-current asset. Okay, so non-current asset, the value is given here, that is 26 lakh. Okay, so you will just writing here that is a 26 lakh, that is a non-current asset value, and the current asset value that is given the 9 lakh. So what will be the total asset value? You will clearly say that is the total value of the asset, that is a 35 lakh. Okay, 26 lakh plus 9, that is 35 lakh. Now shareholders funds are given, so total debt of the firm that you have to calculate. The very important thing, that debt also you can say that is a liability. Okay, so the balance sheet equation or accounting equation, as you know, that the total asset is equal to total liabilities plus capital. Okay, capital or equity or shareholders fund, right? Okay, so the total asset that is given the 35 lakh is equal to total liability that you have to calculate, while shareholders fund that is given the 31 lakh 50,000 rupees. Okay, so now just you have to find out the total liabilities here, right? So 50,000 plus that will become your 13 lakh 50,000 rupees. That should be your total liability. Okay, so this is how you have to solve the questions, right? And this balance sheet or this accounting equation is a very helpful for your examination. Just try to understand, this would really helpful for you like in the multiple questions in the this examination. Okay, I'm hoping that you are getting my point, right? Next question. KYC policy of a bank as per the RBI directive contains element of like which of the options? Okay, so like KYC policy of the bank that actually contains the customer acceptance policy, that is correct. Customer identification procedure, that is correct. Monitoring of the transaction, that is also correct. And the one more you can also add here, that is the risk management. That is the risk management. So if I have to tell the what would be the options that you have to calculate, that you have to just tell here, then you will say the all of the options, that is correct. Okay, so customer acceptance policy, customer identification procedure, monitoring of the transactions, and risk management, all are the all are the elements of the RBI, whatever the RBI issued the specific guideline for your KYC norms. Okay, so this is the answer of this question. Next question. A project that requires initial investment of the 2 lakh and estimated to generate cash flow after tax of 1 lakh rupees. Well, that means estimated to generate cash flow after the tax of 1 lakh 80,000, 40,000, 20,000, 10,000 in next 5 years. So what is the payback period of the project? Okay, in the simple term, what we understand by the payback period, whatever the investment that is done. Okay, how many years that it will take to come back into the company. Suppose that you invested the 100 rupees in any project, and that then I will say that in how many years that you are getting this 100 rupees the back to your company, that is the payback period. Okay, so now if I'm saying that the require the total initial investment, that is the 2 lakh rupees. So that is the 2 lakh rupees the investment that is given here. And the next 5 years what the cash flow is, the cash flow is a 1 lakh for the first year, 80,000 for the second. Just do not confuse with the term that is a tax. Okay, we are talking about generate cash flow after the tax. So whatever the cash flow that we are considering after the tax, so for the first year that is a 1 lakh, for the second year the 80,000 will be come back, but we needed the 2 lakh rupees. Okay, so till now we just getting here that is a 1 lakh 80,000 rupees. Now we only needed the 20,000 rupees. Okay, now if I say that in the third year the cash flow is the 40,000 rupees, right? So in the third year the cash flow is a 40,000. That means if I just add here that means 1 lakh 80,000. Now we only needed the 20,000 for getting the 2 lakh rupees come back to the company. That means I will say like this will be your 2 years plus, like when I have to only just get the 20,000. Okay, so 20,000 divided by the 40,000, that will become your 1 by 2. That means 2.5 years, or you can also say that 2 years 6 months. Okay, so this is how we actually have to solve the questions, right? So the payback period, this is how we have to solve the questions. Next question. Bank shall furnish to FIU India. FIU India, the full form of that, Financial Intelligence Unit India. Okay. So bank shall furnish to FIU India as per the rule 3 of the PML rules, the periodic cash transaction report to the large size cash transactions of and the amount that is given. Okay. Now just tell me what would be the answer of this question. Just tell me what would be the answer of this question. The correct answer of this, that is the single transaction or the total monthly transaction of the 10 lakh and the above. That should be the correct answer of this. That is, bank shall furnish to FIU India as per rule 3 of the PML rules the periodic cash transaction report to the large size cash transactions of the single transactions or the totally monthly transactions of the 10 lakh and above. When we talk about the suspicious transaction report, that is actually sent to the FIU India, that is STR. Okay, so that is actually sent to the FIU India for, like, you can understand, for the suspicious transaction, for the suspicious transactions, if any occur, like in the bank, in the banking. Okay, so that you have to understand for the single transaction or the total monthly transactions of the 10 lakh and the above. That should be the correct answer for this question. Next question. Next question is, like any name that is given, like RF, to whom 1,000 shares of the 10 rupees each was allotted at par and paid 3 rupees on the application, 3 rupees on the allotment, but could not pay the first and final call of the 4 rupees, right? And his shares were forfeited by the directors. The amount to be credited to the shares forfeited account will be, if you just watch my sessions, like in the paid batches, where I just explain the, like, how you can just easily make the journal entry, so you can just understand quickly. Just quickly tell me, because I just knew that most of you just watching my session here. So just quickly tell me that, that what should be the answer of this, because I just explain you in a very easy term. So just I just want to see the answers here. Anybody who is just giving me answer of this? Look, what I told you, that if any, like, how to solve the questions of the forfeiture. Okay, so what I told you, that there, that is, you have to just write, that is a share capital account first, and like what the share capital, what the company need. Okay, well, like how much company is expecting from you. So suppose that like Arav, who is having the 1,000 shares of the 10 rupees each, that means you can understand the company actually needed from you, that is a 1,000 rupees multiplied with the 10, that is 10,000 rupees company is needed. So the share capital account would be debited with the 10,000 rupees too. Now, like when we talk about the app on the application money, that is a 3 rupees. On the allotment, that is a 3 rupees. Okay, on the first call, there is a 4 rupees. Just understand, on the first call and the final call of the money, there is a 4 rupees needed. So what Arav did, that Arav is actually just only paid the application money and the allotment money. Okay, that means this 6 rupees is going to be forfeit. That means this application and this allotment is going to be forfeit, because Arav is not provided the 4 rupees, the final call, first and final call. That means the 6 rupees is going to be forfeit. So what I will just write here, that is to share forfeiture account, that is going to be credited with the 6 rupees multiplied with the 1,000 rupees, so that would be 6,000 rupees credited. While to unpaid calls or to calls in area, you can just write here, that is to calls in area account, or to unpaid calls you can also say, that is 4 multiplied with the 1,000, so that would be the 4,000 rupees credited. Okay, so this is how you will make the journal entry for that. Now the what will be the answer, the amount to be credited to the shares forfeited account. So the forfeited account, you can understand the answer would be the 6,000, and that's how we have to solve the questions in the examination, and you will definitely get this kind of the question in the examination in the 2 marks. Okay, so like if you're watching, like if you're just feeling that let our content, and like if you just appreciate our content, our effort, just do not forget to hit the like button on this video. Okay, And the one more thing I just want to tell you, that just like this video, that this actually appreciate our effort. And just do not forget to enroll for the complete ticket. Just purchase that, because this is a very important thing. This is a beautiful compilation of all the chapters, and the mock test also you are going to get, like in these books. Okay, so mock papers that actually based on the previous year based questions, so that is also very important. So PPB, AB and LRAB, you are going to get a complete ebook here, right? And you can also enroll for the video courses for the JIB, that is available in the bilingual as well as in the English medium courses. And the only thing that you have to apply the code Y422, and the very very important thing, that is a test packs. Okay, that you actually just working hard. Now it is time to understand in which areas you still have to work on, in which areas you still have to read for that. Okay, so for that, this test specs is a very essential. So just purchase that and use the code, that is Y422S, and you are going to get the big discount over that. Just remember the code, that is Y422S, and you are going to get the flat 17% off for this. Okay, so I'm hoping that everyone just understood this session, and thank you everyone for joining me in this class. And just like this video and share this video to your friends, to colleagues, so that maximum number of our bankers can join with us in these kind of the sessions. Okay, so thank you everyone once again.